So it's safe to say that the majority of people watching my videos are perps. And many of you know that the people who are ultimately behind this are liars. And they lie to everybody, including you. Some of you think that perhaps there is no God. Some of you focus on your family and your day-to-day life. And whether or not there is a God does not concern you as much as getting through the day, and you justify it later. Well, the problem here is that you are defying God. And you know this. Some of the perps, they'll point this out themselves as a way to try to fit in with the targeted individuals. And it's easy to, because it's very obvious that that is the case. Some of you think that religion was made up for the purpose of control, and that there is no God. It's a very sad situation. I see a lot of, just people who don't have the heart to fight for what they believe. I see that quite frequently with this. And, it's no different than a lot of people in society. Society tends to be wrong in general, and people tend to kind of think it's okay to be in the wrong and to be wrong. I'm ready to die for what I believe. I'll never conform. I'll never take any deal. The deals I'll make publicly. And that's what it is. There's nothing you can say that will change my mind. And any attempt to insult me is always blown up in your face. But I'm sure you'll keep doing it. Because for the same reason I'm the top martial artist is the same reason why you will never defeat me. Because I know better than you do. I am closer to God than you are. I am more intellectual and intelligent than you are. If that wasn't the case, I would have been subjugated a long, long time ago. But with all this technology and all these people and human resources, at your disposal, you people failed to get me to conform. All the times I've been to the psych ward and reform schools, all the people you've sent trying to influence me. Why haven't you asked yourself, well, why did we fail? And so it goes on and on. The nonsense, the foolishness. I see the foolishness of every group, and I can go into detail more, but it'll be very redundant. But to keep it simple, the problem here is a lack of faith and a lack of bravery. And of course, the accompanying morality that comes with bravery and faith. That's the problem here. You people are a bunch of, disreputable, just unscrupulous, lowlifes, spiritual bottom feeders. And it's just like with, prisons or gangs or, networks of criminals and thieves and, fraternities that rape women. It's a bunch of people who are dead wrong, who have come together to kind of snicker and act like abominable trolls and, kind of feel better about their miserable existence. And then there are those of you who have found some inferior logic to justify what you are doing. I mean, it is very sad. It's unnatural. There's really two logical ways for man to live life with dignity and honor. One is to be part of a group of righteous people that lives a natural life. The other is to be an individual, not conform to anything. And what is very unfortunate and rather sad, depressing, is that you all have failed to do either. They've got you. And I really don't see any hope for you. It's tragic. Do we say prayers for the perps? I mean, God said vengeance is mine. And by letting you all make these mistakes is how he is setting you up for his vengeance. He said, well, you didn't have what it takes to rise to heaven, so he's going to allow you to burn. It's very sad. Very sad. And how some of you bring your kids with you. It's rather unjust. It's rather deplorable. I'm sure you know that already. So, what to do with you people? You are cursed. You would be among the least of the brethren, but you are no brother to any man of God. You have made your decision, a life decision. What lies in your future? There is no way to repent for what you are doing besides completely coming clean. And the problem with that is if you wait too long, and come clean at a point in time where it's not going to make a difference, say 50 years from now when, psychops are run in a different way and most of the people you were persecuting have passed away and what have you, when you're old on your deathbed, this is not acceptable. You've made your bed and you're going to lay it. So, you all can pretend like I'm wrong and then God magically is not going to see through your cowardice. But you truly don't understand what contrition means. There's a difference between fearing hell and deciding that you want to repent the last few years of your life and truly being contrite. See, the heart that is evil for a long period of time and unrepentant is not the heart that has contrition in it. That may, there's very few exceptions to that rule. You people just don't understand what you're doing until it's too late, until you look back at your life and you say, well, for me and my family, I sold out all of humanity. I've betrayed God. What kind of a low life am I? And for what? When you truly start thinking about it, you start looking at the other people like you. And you say, well, these people are cowards just like me. Why do I fear them? Why do you fear them? These are cowards. These are people who would never dream of doing this on their own. They act because they feel that they're in a position to pick on vulnerable people and to get away with it. And this is the type of people that you fear. You fear the repercussions from those types of people. Very sad. And all you whores and all your selfish ways as you come to your end as some kind of a Ursula from Little Mermaid looking hag when you're older. Probably doing plastic surgery trying to keep it from happening. and you start realizing the disgusting beast that you are, a rather detestable animal. And you're forced to ask yourself, well, if there is no God in eternal conflict with the devil, or there's no devil in eternal conflict with God, rather, then why were you pulled one way all your life and you've decided to go that way? Why is it impossible to be both good and evil at the same time? Because there is a devil. There is a source of the evil, and it's not the same source as the source of the good. And it's sad that you just do not think. You spend too much time believing what you're told. It's pretty much the main difference between Masonry and Christianity, is Masonry teaches you something in a way that they force you to live it that way. And they force you to, it's this peer pressure. Whereas Christianity teaches you the truth, and you have to think and think and think and think. Masons are basically telling you not to think. They're saying, well, invent something, yeah. Do good at your job, yeah. Cheat people, rip them off, yeah. But don't think about whether or not Pike and them are wrong about the devil being some kind of decent being or some kind of benevolent being or an acceptable being. Of course, there's always unacceptable and acceptable. Do you eat food that has been out too long? Do you drink spoiled milk? There's acceptable and there's unacceptable. The Masons will make the argument that that spoiled milk, was allowed to spoil because of God, so therefore it's okay to drink it. Well, they would make that argument if they followed their train of thought to its finish. Just because something exists doesn't mean it's okay to indulge in it. Doesn't mean there isn't repercussions and consequences for indulging in it. Just because America decides to follow Kronos, Saturn, and defy the Lord doesn't mean you should do it. Just because it makes your life easy to be a gang-stalking coward doesn't mean you should be that. You know why they look at these sports competitions and they take them so seriously? That it was part of the Cold War and part of the Olympics and World War II and so on. During the World War II era with Hitler's Olympics and his Nazi athletes in the Olympics. Because when one does not cheat and use drugs, it is a test of intellect. It's not the ultimate test, but it's relevant. But when you have cheaters that are using drugs and technology and their vast network and their so-called experts, and they fail to beat someone such as myself, you must really ask yourself, well, what the hell is wrong with you for following them? Their whole argument is that they are deserving, that they have the merit and the expertise to subjugate men and to lead you. But they cannot defeat a guy who lives in the middle of nowhere with his parents. They must resort to trolling, trickery, disinfo, misdirection, illusions, deceit, cowardice, hiding. These are the people you follow. And their same illogical nonsense is what you are conforming to, because you do not have the heart, the moral will to do the right thing. All the spiritual bottom feeders failed to beat me in a debate, and they resort to Masonic tactics. That is part of why they are spiritual bottom feeders. Some of them are PhDs, and they're still spiritual bottom feeders.